are joined by Adam Aitken, who is our partner manager at Draycir. He will take you through the Credit Hound webinar. So just to run through our agenda for this morning. So we just had the introduction to myself and Adam there. We will then have a little introduction into Draycir and the Credit Hound product. Adam will take you through the demo of all the features of Credit Hound. We will then have a little run through the benefits, and we will close off with our Q&A session. So I will now hand over to Adam here, who is going to just kick off with who Draycir are.
Thank you, Hannah. Morning, everybody. So yeah, just a bit of context on Draycir and on myself, as I appreciate this may be the first time that you may have heard of us as a business, or especially myself. So Draycir are based in Leicester, and we're selling our software throughout the UK and the world, in over 54 countries to be exact. You may tell from my accent I'm not actually Leicester based, although all our support team is. So I'm from Manchester, but don't hold that against me. So yeah, the sectors we sell into are very diverse. We're selling to lots of different companies and markets with over 4,500 organisations using our products. So lots of different users, over 15,000 to be exact, and all the users are using different products. However, they have the same things in common, which are things like wanting to get paid faster, looking to improve cash flow, and this is where we support a lot of our customers with our product, and the one in particular I'm going to be showing today, which is Credit Hound. So Credit Hound has never been more popular due to the demand for having systems in place during the current climate for getting payments quicker, on time, and when they should be, rather than late, which a lot of businesses face. So from kind of analysis of our marketing team, the resource, we've established that a third of payments to businesses are late, and over 60% of these payments are being late by what's considered bigger businesses. So the average late payment to businesses is just over £6,000, and that's average. So by not getting paid on time, it can cause lots of problems for businesses, and Credit Hound can help with things such as cash flow, lack of working capital. It can help with customer disputes, so it can quicken up processes which are notoriously slow ones, bringing in other departments, speaking to people both internally and from the customer side. If a business has high operating costs, it can help with that. One of the main ones is bad debt. So this can get to the stage where if it's left so long, it can even mean it's getting written off by the business because you just can't get it in, and it helps just generally getting paid slow. So it's really about focusing on what's seen as a reactive process and making it a lot more proactive approach. So it's about getting up that ladder, so to speak, so we get paid quicker and rival these other companies of what could be considered a bigger stature, or the ones that are shouting louder and getting on the same steps as they're on. So generally, when we look at how businesses used to roll out document management and credit control, they tend to have a heavy admin process. It's typically things like an age debt report or some age software. So it can really help and alleviate all those problems. With a system in place of Credit Hound, you're now chasing everyone rather than reacting to the biggest and the oldest. So even if they're not due yet, you can use preemptive chases on, say, like a 30-day invoice, for example, to get to day 25. Then you can just set things like gentle reminders. Now, I know in context that you might be thinking, what am I talking about? But I can show you the software in action. So it's just about wording how you want that message along the lines of how it needs to be articulated, and we can do all that within Credit Hound. So what it's doing is pulling all the data through the accountancy package or through Sage. So you'll still use your finance system as you would do normally when it comes to things like invoices. There'll never be any need to rekey any data with Credit Hound. So you're not needing to flip to one system, add in here, add in there, and things like that. So if I just kind of, I guess, if it's okay with you, Hannah, if I just go into the software from here and show it kind of in action and talk through it.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Good stuff. Okay, so let me look at sharing my screen, guys. Yeah. And hopefully you can see that now. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. Okay. So yeah, what I'll be looking to show today is a couple of credit control activities and how Credit Hound can potentially help your business. and how it can help your organization and just fit in with your current processes, and ultimately looking into making improvements to save time and efficiency. So this is, I guess, where you need to be considering, what does your credit control process look at the minute? Do you receive many late payments? Do you have many customer disputes? If the answer is yes to those questions, then Credit Hound is a solution that can definitely help. It's all about giving that top level information to a credit controller, so you can see exactly what's happening at each point in time. So the key things for credit controllers is, with these widgets you can see on my screen now on the dashboard, is it's making it really easy and simple to drill down from the view you can see on what we're looking at now. So with it being these two variations of Credit Hound, we do have an on-premise version, and we have a cloud version, which we're looking at today. And there's some kind of subtle under the bonnet changes depending on requirements. So that's maybe something we can pick up in the Q&A afterwards if anyone's got any questions on that, on the differences. But what we're looking at now is kind of the cloud equivalent. So with this, there's no need for upgrades to newer versions. It's already included in the package, which is obviously great news. So the software is automatically syncing with Sage, as I mentioned before. It's pulling all that data through. The software is designed to act like, I guess, like a CRM solution. So the user can add all the notes that's accessible across the departments. It's given the ability to create account level and transactional level notes. So it doesn't matter who's logging in. You can see how up to date the notes are. The solution has its own emailing client. So at the top here, we've got these three icons. If I click on this bell here, we can see this is the emailing client. So this is where it had shown. We've got a demo environment. So we've got an incoming emails, any outgoings, and an archived email. So, not too dissimilar to, I'd imagine, what you're using at the minute, things like Microsoft Outlook, things like that. So what this means is that when we send an email out, it will show when it's been delivered, it'll show when it's been opened, and it'll show how many times it's been opened as well. And the end user won't be able to see that. So sometimes, and imagine you've all come across customers when they've said, oh, we've not received that invoice. Well, you can actually say, well, Mr. Customer, obviously it's up to your customers how you articulate this. You'll have to be maybe a bit creative, or if you want to be direct, just really depending on your preference and your approach. But you can actually say, well, no, actually you opened this, Sharon, yesterday at 10:22. I can see you looked at it and viewed it at three times. So yeah, it's beneficial in terms of that way. Now, you don't necessarily have to have it set up for your emailing client out of here. You can do it direct from Outlook, but Draycir's recommendation is to do it this way, because if you take it away and just do it for Outlook, you're losing those features and functionality of seeing who's opened it, how many times, things like that. So we'll go back to that in a second. So yeah, when you open up Credit Hound and you log on, this is the system and this is how it'll look. So this is a demo company, and we can see here that it's a company called Homestyle Kitchens. So the software is all about giving access to real-time data through these widgets and providing the top level information, nice and easy. So what we can see here, I'll just kind of talk through it here. It's all color coded, it's all point and click. So we can see at the top, we've got the total debt, and now we can see how this is broken down onto the right-hand side. It's all color coded. So anything that's not due is registered in green, overdue in red, disputed in yellow, and non-allocated in blue. So that could be anything like a credit note or something like that. At any point in time, I can click in this and I can see what's outstanding. Go back to overdue. You can see everything that's overdue, and that you've got that theme of the color coding there for you as well. Mini age receivables, pretty self-explanatory. That works as it is. And again, we can drill down into this at any point. That's going to show us how this looks. We've got our filters. We can always export from Excel should we need to. If you have a business that reports in multi-currency, it's just a matter of clicking that button there and we can change that there. But we can say 30, 60, 90. And again, by just clicking on any of these filter options, that's going to show us that information. If we wanted to drill down specifically into a customer, we can see all the information there. It's going to have all the notes, any activity, the credit limit, any balance, and anything in dispute. That's going to show that at any point in time in there. So it's all interactive for you. So on the dispute section, so again, if we click on that, you can drill down into each one of those. This is highlighting disputed, so it's what's not currently being chased. So which we consider which sits outside of a chase cycle. And again, we can drill down even further and see things from here, such as any notes that have been added onto the account, any kind of promises, and that's going to show us any kind of transactions, conversations that have been had in there for you, so you can see all that information. Let's go back to that. We've got where is my money? So this is just a bit of a snapshot, a graph of where the money is being held. It's that information, but just in kind of a graph form there. It's got percentages. So yeah, from a reporting perspective, you can drill down into a granular level. If you're reporting this to say at board level, things like that will become really handy. Who has paid me last? So who has paid me, sorry, so that's your last 7 days. So these, I guess, you've considered your good guys. You've got a high level information of that. On the flip side of that, these are your bad guys. So who has my money? So what's overdue? What's not due? Anything disputed and non-allocated? And again, it's all color-coded there. I've got this set up and configured for the biggest outstanding amount, but if you want that to look a different way, this is all customizable. So you can break that down in any way that you want to. And then the last bit here is we can't chase this amount. So with this section, this is highlighting the accounts that cannot be currently chased. So this is because either something is missing, so it could be something like an email address, or it's just not formatted correctly. Now, I could change this here in the system, but it's recommended that you change that in Sage first. And once that's changed, well, then it'll sync directly into Credit Hound and you're not rekeying any information. So yeah, the solution, as with most software, is only as good as your accountancy package. So there may be a bit of a data exercise of cleaning up Sage if it doesn't look the way it needs to. But the guys at Envisage are really good at that and can help you with that should you want that. So we touched on the emailing icon at the top here. We've got this, I want to say megaphone. So with this being a cloud-based solution, this will show functionality here with our announcement kit. So we're constantly adding new features and functionality. So the functionality that's added, that's automatically added, it may not be apparent. So it might be, like I say, under the bonnet stuff. So it will all be documented here. So any new features, they'll often come with videos, they'll come with tutorials and how the functionality can be accessed. The software also includes free training and how-to guides, all of which has been driven by customer feedback and will continue to be done so. So there's things like free webinars that will help with any new users of the system. So if you have a business, you've got any new starters, it's really beneficial for that rather than a bit of drain and resource for yourself. One of the newest features, which has just been released, is a credit report feature. So this is going to give you discounted credit reports, which can be used for any of your customers. And then the customers are broken down in sections or bad reports, highlighting that you may want to buy and review. So it's all about kind of mitigating that risk. Just before I continue, Hannah, sound everything's okay yet?
Yep, all perfect, Adam.
Good stuff. Okay. And then the only other icon here, we've got this tag here. So if you wanted to switch users on this cog, you could do that. Any company settings, if you wanted to change company settings. If I click on email templates, so we'll start here. So when installing the software, these are kind of the templates, the invoices that we have. So emailing is kind of what's going to make the credit controller's life a lot easier. And the ones visible on the screen here are kind of what's defaulted into the system. Now we can tailor to suit the business needs and messages that we're trying to get across and what's being articulated. But as you can see here, we've got a couple of a friendly overdue letter. We've got a debt collector one titled friendly overdue, a key account chase, a mildly overdue, a moderately overdue, and then a strongly overdue, as well as a preemptive reminder. And if you was to read kind of all the paragraphs in here, you'd notice that it's a little bit more sterner. The message is slightly different depending on how friendly or how stern we want to be. Obviously, if it's strongly overdue because we're 30, 100 days overdue, we're going to be a little bit more assertive with our language. If it's just a friendly reminder because we want to look at sending something automatically 10 days before, it's just going to be that friendly, gentle tap on the shoulder. Don't forget this is due for payment sort of a approach that we're going to take. Now, these are, like I say, defaulted into the system. You can add as many as you can here, and we've got this green button to do so here. So all you do is you press your green button, you'd write anything that you need to here. You could select a template. So just let's say if we wanted to look at a key account chase, so we might want to send an automatic email to clients when it's say over £10,000, £30,000, if it was an amount, of a particular customer that we know they were notoriously bad payers, then that's something that we could do here, and we can title that what we want to. So let's call that for the sake of this demo purposes. It's going to create a table there. So that's going to pull the invoice in question. So anything that you can see blue here is what's going to be pulled out from Sage. So hi, the customer's name. We've noticed the following invoices are still outstanding for overdue payment. That's going to pull the invoice in question. So you're going to get the invoice type, the invoice number, the date that it was due, the transaction amount, and then the outstanding amount there. If you could let me know when we can expect payment of these invoices, it would be grateful. That's going to pull your signature and invoice information there. And we've also got this Pay Now button. So this is functionality that sits out of Credit Hound, but a commercial consideration is pretty minimal in consideration. Where if you wanted your customers to receive an immediate payment, Draycir have developed software where you click a button, that'll take them to a payment screen, and they can make an immediate payment. So it's just really a way of getting a payment kind of quicker. So yeah, this transactional table, it'll automatically put the data in, which can be really good and easy if customers were querying an invoice or multiple invoices. It's just kind of a time-saving effort. And you can go create bespoke emails, which can be saved here into the software. What I tend to do, I won't save this one, but because I'm lazy, is you can press duplicate. We've got this information here, and then we can just amend this as we need to. So just if you didn't want this to look as it did, and you wanted to add different context, you can see we just type in there. We just press create, and that's going to save a new template on there for you. We'll just cancel that off there. So yeah, with the Pay Now function, so this is this can be linked with lots of other payment software. So it doesn't. We've got our own Draycir Pay, but equally, if you use, I don't know, Total Processing, Stripe, WorldPay, it's all compatible. I've not come across one where it doesn't work with, meaning you can receive an instant payment. So it's just about speeding the process up. So all the templates here, what we're using, are used for chasing cycles, which I'll show you shortly. You might be looking at them and thinking it doesn't really mean much, but I'll show you that in context of why that works. So they all have different levels of authoritative language, depending on how friendly or how stern you want to be. So we'll show you that in a collection path in a second. We've got invoices. So instead of looking up at a customer level, a functionality that we've brought in that's been added is to view via an invoice. So this means that quite often through a credit control process, all invoices, we can see exactly what we can see here. So 1 second. Back in play, just give me 1 second, sorry guys. This could be my internet. Can you still hear me, Hannah?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, good. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So that's windy Manchester for you. It looks like it's affecting my internet. I need to get onto BT there. So yeah, instead of looking at customer level, a fairly new feature that's been added is looking at an invoice level. So this means that quite often through a credit control process, we want to see all invoices outstanding, and this is exactly what we can see here. So we can drill down into each one of these. We can see the reference. So we can see what's been promised to each one of those. We can drill down and see what's included here, and we can also export it to Excel should it be required. So the software has the ability to go in and send them. You can send an email from here should you need to. When I was talking about that credit report, we've got that functionality there. So from looking at this invoice, if we want to send an email, we can just click a button there. We've got those templates that I was talking about before. So this is kind of like a manual chase that I'm talking about here. I'll show you kind of like an automated one. But we was on the phone to a customer, we press that button, we've got that information there, and it's just a matter of pressing send and away that email goes for them. We've got that. So yeah, if you wanted to log an activity, so that was designed if you was on the phone to them, then you've got that functionality there as well. So let's go to customers. So The notes and history are added and included to each invoice, which makes it really easy to see what's been paid to each customer during that conversation, with follow-ups and any promise to agreed. What we do, we've got a full audit trail. So if we just choose Abbey Retail, for example. So from here, we're going to be able to show balances, credit limits, anything that's overdue, anything that's disputed, and anything that's also been promised here. This activity section here is what is previous conversations, calls that have been logged, so we can hear that previous conversations have gone, that calls logged, and if they spoke to Haley, which is the customer, the invoice wasn't in the system, and Haley had not received the invoice, so we'd sent that out. We've got a promise to pay, we've got an email that was sent out, so we've got a full audit trail on there. So if I was on the phone to Abbey Retail, and this is a demo purpose, so we've only got one person from Sage, but obviously we've got multiple people on there, then these will be all identified there. So you click and point on which customer you want. So we're going to say that we're speaking to Haley. Haley is advised that the check is in the post when we're chasing payment. So we'll chase up next Monday. Haley promised the check would be in by Friday. So we'll give her a day kind of grace period there. We'll create a follow-up task, so that's going to show in our diary. With the system, you can put due dates in there. So let's say on Tuesday, we could be more specific. So if you know in the afternoon you chase all your debts there rather than AM, then you could do that should you need to. We can assign that to who we want to. So if that was an escalation, or it was a certain person in the business who chased that, or if you knew you was going to be away on holiday, you can pass that to someone else. And we've got that follow-up task there. And then we just save that. So that's going to go into our calendar, and I'll show you how that'll look in a second. So what we've done there is that was pretending, for the purpose of the demo, that was on the phone to Haley. We'd not received the payment that we'd been chasing. She said the check was in the post. We're going to receive it by Friday, tomorrow. So I've created a follow-up action there into my diary that by Tuesday, if we've not received a payment from Haley, we've got a note in the calendar to say that we need to chase that up. You know, whether that's a phone call, whether that's an escalation, that can look however that needs to for you as a business. Now, what the system has is if we receive a payment from Haley on the Friday or on the Monday, and then that notification in the diary, that'd automatically be taken out, because so that's going to avoid any awkward conversations of chasing up a payment when it's actually been received. So the system is using real-time data. So as soon as a payment hits Sage, that'll automatically be taken out should we receive a payment before then. So yeah, we can do that. We can send emails manually this way should we need to. We can just so if we were on the phone to Haley and we wanted to send a bit of a debt collector email, then we can do that. So yeah, any information, any amendments you can make there, depending on if you know the customer. If you didn't want to use one of those templates, alternatively, what we can use and what you can see at the bottom is we have the AI assistant. So if people are familiar kind of with ChatGPT, this is kind of working on the same context here. So we might want to send and create a payment reminder. We might want to tweak it. We might want to insert like a pay now button. So we can do all of that. So this will write a more specific email for that person. So if I wanted to write a payment reminder, it's going to glean all this information where this is different from, say, like a ChatGPT. It's going to glean all that information out from Sage. It's using Credit Hound. So it's got a subject title. We can see the customer's details. We've got the payment reminder for the full balance. It's pulled out the reference number. It's got my email address in there. And then it's got also the company name and business and the signature that we can all add in, which is all customizable. If we looked at that and we thought, you know what, as with ChatGPT, we want to reword it, so let's make it a little bit more assertive because it's a significant, we know that these guys need chasing a bit more assertively. We can do that. If we wanted to add a payment schedule, it's done that for us in a click of a button. You know, I won't keep doing this. You kind of get the idea. If you want it a bit more friendly, because, you know, you don't want to jeopardize any relationship, use your number one customer, we've rewritten it that way. So you can do that as many times as you're ready. And then you just press enter, and then you send that when you're ready to go. So this all means if we're manually chasing, we don't have to sit, we don't have to compose an email. I've just pretty much clicked a couple of the buttons and we've got quite an in-depth articulate email there that's being sent to the customer by just choosing what you need that to look like. So if we had disputes, so if we're looking like an invoice in question, so they refuse to pay it, we've got this dispute button here. So it's going to give you, it's going to prompt you to say, you sure you want to make this transaction disputed? And what that's going to do, that's going to check that out the payment cycle. So it's got that functionality to do that. We can add any notes should we need to there with the notes section. So however that needs to look, whatever notes they need to be, you can just save that into the system. And that's going to show there that transaction where I'm hovering over has instantly been created. So yeah, what it's doing, it's creating it's creating a task. If the customer was to promise to pay, it'll show all those information there for you as well. If I show a collection path from here, so what a collection path is, this allows you to automatically contact your customers by email when invoices, payments are outstanding. So that was more of a manual process. This is kind of the automated stuff. So this can be configured to send gentle payment reminders when invoices are about to become due, or it can be strongly worded emails when invoices are overdue. So all customers in the list will be shown automatically set up on a default collection path, but I'll just show you how to set up a collection path for different customers and how to opt them out should you need to. So it's enabled, green is enabled, red is disabled, like that. So if we wanted to add a new collection path, we'll call this problem payers. We don't need to add my name into that. So with this one, we're going to say that these are notoriously bad payers. So we want to chase 30 days. So this is going to be an automatic payment reminder. So what we're going to do here is that, what days do you want this to work? So if we wanted to say this goes out every Friday, however that needs to look, a scheduled time. If we wanted to only chase emails that was, if anything under £10, that might be considered bad form or might not, reflect well in the business that you're chasing a penny or whatever that may be. So anything say under a pound, however that needs to look, we can opt this out. And we could say that anything over £100,000 we might not want on this collection path because that might need an even more kind of aggressive, assertive email going across. So what we're doing here, these are problem payers. The idea of this is the customers we want to heavily chase because they're notoriously bad, and we want to ensure that they're paying at the very least on time. So we've added the maximum minimum values. These are your chasing actions. So the first one, what we'll do is for our problem payers, we'll say 10 days before the due date, we'll send out a preemptive reminder. That template that we're showing you before, hopefully this had a bit of context now, that's coming to there and we can add an action there. So then we'll send another email on, we'll say on the due date. It's now become a friendly overdue. That's got the friendly overdue template there, and we'll just add that action by the click of the green button. We'll now send another email 10 days after the due date. And we'll say it's moderately overdue. And we had an action there. And then there's a last one, we'll create a task. So this can be a call the client 20 days after the due date. That could be signed to whoever you want it to be. We'll say call customer. So when I was mentioning before about that autocomplete task, so what that button is by clicking on or off. So by having that on, that means that if we receive payment at any point in this cycle, that's going to be removed from our diary. So it avoids any awkward, unnecessary conversations because actually we have received payment and we had an action there. So with this collection path, 10 days before, we're sending an automatic email, so nothing you need to do here. Then we've got on the due date, we're sending out another email, and then 10 days after, we've got a more assertive email. And then if it gets 20 days after that, we've created a task to then call that customer. So all that information's in there, just a click of a button, and we just press save there. And we can say that what I've just created, we can see it there, problem payers, by clicking enabled. That's on there for you now. and that's a collection path, and that's how you add it. So we can do as many of them as we want. You can opt in and customers out. So if I just show a customer, for example, and we look at, say, Abbey Retail, and for whatever reason, we decided that we didn't want them in a collection path. So Abbey Retail, you just click them, and once it's run red, they're out of that auto chasing cycle there. So you're not going to send those type of emails. So an example of that would be, I don't know, like a trading account perhaps, or it could be maybe a sister company, someone who's a friend of the owner, the MD, however that is. You might just say, look, we'll keep them out because they know they're good for it, or we'll leave them out for whatever reason that needs to be. So yeah, hopefully that kind of demonstrates how to set up and how easy it is to set up a collection path. But in the Q&A at the end, if you want to see another one of them, I might not have explained it as well as perhaps I could, then I can show you that in another format. We've got tasks. So this is the email and scheduling. So those promise to pays, those follow-ups, anything where you're on the phone to the customer, this is kind of what your calendar in Outlook would be. So not too dissimilar here, and we can change that and format that. So I've got that on the next 7 days. But if we wanted to that look in a certain way, or if you wanted access to look at different diaries, so this has got, the system's got software where if you're, say, at a management director level and you want to see of everyone's diary, or if you just want that specific for you, then you've got that functionality should you need to. So we can go to any day here and show each collection paths and actions for that day. So after it's gone out, we need to know how it's gone out, where it's visible. So you'll have all alerts and prompts, and how it works is with any emails that come through, any prompts, just like any kind of social media platform like LinkedIn, Facebook, when you get a red 1, 7, depending on how much you've got, that'd show in the bell icon there for you. So that's gonna show. So yeah, by opening any emails, we're able to see every time it's been opened, as I've mentioned before. And when the customer decides to reply back, you can choose whether they reply back into Credit Hound directly or your own emailing address. So again, that's really a preference for you. So this might not always be the way you want to chase, so you can revert manually, which I kind of showed you before on there. We've got promises. So with this screen, we can see all the promises in the system. So who's promised to pay me. So from a reporting perspective, this is really good. So this is going to show kept, broken promises. It'll show a promise due date. You can export to Excel as you can with pretty much all these functionalities within the software. We can filter that out. If you just wanted to look at, say, kept and broken, or just broken, we've got that information there as well. So this makes it really easy by Credit Hound showing an overview of what we need to action for that day, depending on the status of each customer. So from a reporting perspective, that's really good. And then the only other one is kind of the age debt. So again, filters that are available throughout. You can change this for however you need this to look. We've got the filter option there. We can clear these at any point in time. So for like kind of manual chasing, it can look good visually. It's grouping the emails together. So it's just a matter of just clicking the emails in question, and you can explore that in any way that you want to. So yeah, hopefully that gives an overview of Credit Hound as a solution. It should give a summary of the software and the features available. But yeah, any kind of questions, I'd be happy to talk over in a little bit more detail should you need me to.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. We'll jump back into the PowerPoint there. Sorry, 1 second now.
No worries.
Screen is just a little bit slow. So just to recap quickly there for why to choose Credit Hound. It reduces your outstanding debt. So obviously it chases all debt, no matter how overdue that they are. It gives you a better cash flow by turning credit control from a reactive to a proactive process. You can collect your payments quicker. It saves you time, and it gives you a quick return on your investment, reducing the amount of money owed to you by your customers. So thank you, Adam. That was a great webinar, very informative. We will jump into our Q&A session now. Sorry, I'll have to stop sharing for a second as I can't access the questions. And our chat panel here. So someone has asked, how is the product licensed?
Sure, yeah, good question. So these two variations of Credit Hound, like I say, the on-premise and cloud version, the solution itself comes with one user and one company, and then from that, it's licensed per user per company on the solution.
Perfect. And I suppose that's a good run into our next question, where someone said, what happens if you have more than one company? How would the system work then?
Yeah, that's a good question. So let me just quickly share my screen just to show you that again. So up on here, so where you can say UK demo companies on there. Hopefully, can you see that, Hannah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So where you've got my companies there, it'd be a click of a button, and then you just have a drop down option for how many companies you've got. So yeah, multiple companies. You click on that, and then that's going to upload each company's data there for you, and you're going to see a different dashboard depending on that. So yeah, it's just a matter of, again, with all part of this software, it's the click of a button and you've got that information there. Again, for multi-currency, if you reported in, say, US dollars or whatever that may be, you just click that where we can see the flag and the GPP, and that'll change it accordingly for you there as well.
Perfect. That's brilliant. Thank you, Adam. Perfect. So we can finish up here then if there's no more questions. Let me just double check. Sorry, I've lost my screen there. No, we've no other questions coming in. Perfect. So if anyone has any queries at all, or you want to hear any more about the product, you can email me, hannahhart@envisagecloud.ie, or you can give the office a call on 01822 3200, and we'll be more than happy to assist. So thank you everyone for taking the time out for the webinar this morning, and thank you for your time, Adam. And yeah, have a good day, everybody.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.